We are starting the lab, so you can go to the your lab list here, and we are going to model number 5. Okay, so in this model we are going to understand about the pipeline, how we can use the pipeline. Okay, we are going to develop a classic as well as the something called YAML pipeline. Okay, and that's what we are going to do. So we already have this Paths Unlimited project available in our DevOps. Okay, so we are going to we don't need to do this activity, the task number 1. So already we have the project, so task number 1 we can skip. So project is already available. Now what we are going to do, we are going to write something called YAML based pipeline now. Okay, so if you see in this step, so you can go to the portal. Okay, and in the pipeline section you need to click on new pipeline, and you have to select as a code. Okay, so once you have to select as a code, and you need to select Azure DevOps, Azure Repo, Git. You need to select a project, select a starter pipeline, and then just a save. Okay, so let me demonstrate here how we can go ahead and create a YAML pipeline. So this is my Paths Unlimited project which I have created yesterday. Okay, I'll click on this Paths Unlimited project. I need to build a pipeline, or I need to create a pipeline. I'll go to the pipeline section. I'll click on this first pipeline option. Okay, so you can see here this is the build pipeline, and this is how it is called as release pipeline. So release pipeline is used to deploy, and this build pipeline is used to build. Okay, click on new pipeline here, and once you click on new pipeline, you are getting an option to choose. Do you want to develop as a code, or do you want to go as a classic editor? You can see it down here, there is something called use a classic editor. Okay, without YAML, and above there is a code based development. Okay, so you click on Azure Repo Git. So we are going to use Azure repository, which is a Git repository. Okay, I'll click on this. Then I need to select a repository. Which repository we are using? We are using a Paths Unlimited repository, and you just select a starter pipeline. You can see here there are multiple templates which is available. Okay, so starting from building ASP.NET code, ASP.NET core code, desktop application, universal Windows platforms, Xamarin. So other there are, if you click on show more, you will be able to see the list of all those templates which is available. What it does, it's automatically generate code for you. Okay, so let's suppose that I want to deploy something called .NET code, .NET desktop code. Okay, so I'll click on this .NET desktop. What happened? It automatically generate a code for me according to the .NET desktop. Okay, which is required. You just need to modify a bit, and then you will be able to do it here. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to select a starter pack. Okay, so I'll go to new pipeline. I'll select a repo. Then I'll select a starter pipeline, and then just you have to click on save here. So here is asking a commit operation, and just click on save button. You can see here this Azure pipeline file is got saved over there. So you can see here this is what it is, Azure pipeline.yaml, and this has got created where? It has got created in my repository. Okay, so if I'll go in the repository, you will be seeing here the Azure YAML file is available. Okay, so whatever the pipeline we are developing as a code, it goes and resides into the your repository. Okay, so this is what I have created just now. Okay, so once you have created this, so that's what it's task talk about, and you can see here this results you Azure pipeline.yaml file, and which will go and sit into your repository. Okay, because it is code, and that has that need to be a place where it can go and get stored. Now what we are going to do, we have a classic pipeline. What is a classic pipeline means? If you go to this pipeline here, and this is what it has developed as a classic pipeline. Okay, if I'll click here, you can see here that that's the screen completely different which we have just now. We click on edit button on the existing the YAML pipeline, and if I click on YAML pipeline, it is taking me to the code. Okay, but if I go to the existing pipeline which is available here, and I'll click on edit, and it taking me as something called a UI, and this is what is a classic editor calls. Okay, okay, Now I need to go and export something called a YAML file from the existing pipeline. Okay, so if I build a pipeline, okay, which is the existing pipeline or old pipeline which I have already built using a classic editor, I can export the YAML file from here and I can reutilize those YAML file to create a new pipeline. Okay, so what I'll do here, you can see here, this once you go to the pipeline and you can go to the recent tab, and there is some option here, three dots will be available which ask me to export a YAML file. Just a minute. Okay, so I go inside this. Okay, and here is the three dots. Click on this three dots and asking me to export a YAML file. Okay, I'll click on export YAML file. What happened? This pipeline get exported as a YAML file. Okay, so this is my latest file, and if I open, you can see here this is the YAML file talks about. So this is basically, if you try to understand, it is trying to trigger my branch, which is a master branch. Okay, and this is the format of the build. So this is a build number will be get generated. Next you have a job. Okay, the first job, this is the phase one. Okay, then you have a pool means a agent which you are going to select, a VM image agent, VS 2017 Windows 2016 agent. So this is the agent which I am going to get it from the Microsoft. Okay, then you have a NuGet install. Okay, NuGet installer. In NuGet restore we are trying to build this using a VS build agent. So we are trying to build a code here. So this is a complete code path we have, and once the code path is built, okay, we are going to run a test assembly. So we are going to test the project. Once we are done with the test project, we are doing a copy file to the build artifact, which is a output of my build. Okay, so these are the steps which is exported into the YAML file, and these things are already available in the classic. So that's what it is get exported. If you see the classic pipeline, it is asking me, okay, you want to build, this is your pipeline name, there's your agent pool. So this is the agent pool you can select. So this is a Microsoft hosted agent, you can see here hosted. So this is a Microsoft hosted agent. Okay, so Azure pipeline, and then you have to select, if you are selecting a Microsoft hosted agent, which agent you want to do. Okay, so what kind of project you have. This is my .NET code, and I should have a Business 2017 Windows 2016. Okay, so that I need to have a as a to build our code. I can't select Ubuntu because this is .NET code that will fail on the Ubuntu machine. Okay, so Microsoft says that according to your project, you have to select a agent specification which you are looking for. Okay, and Microsoft only give this pool. Okay, so pool is only giving you 1800 per minute, which is for a month. Okay, to run the code. Okay, it's not depends on the agent specification, it depends on the agent pool. Okay, and if you look at the next step, it is talking about which project you want to build. Okay, so this is my project, this is my repository, and this is my branch. So I can, if you have dev branch or feature branch, you can select according to the branch name here. Next you have a phases. So one phase you have, another phase you can add a multiple phase as well. Okay, and you can add a task as well. So you can, this are the what, this is the task, this is the task for my this particular agent. Okay, so you can add a task. I want to add something else, like I want to do a copy. So you can copy files or copy files to Azure. So anything, whatever you want to add, you can just go ahead and pull those, and you can keep it add to your step. So you can add any number of tasks which need to be executed in a sequence that you are going to add it here. So first step is to restore NuGet package, because I need a NuGet library for my code to build. Okay, next you are doing a build application, then you are going to do a test application, then we are going to do a copy, and then you are going to publish a artifact. So that's what we are going, and this has got exported into your something called a pipeline, you can say, into your YAML script. Now once that is exported, what you can do here, okay, so then once that is exported here, on this, okay, so this is what your YAML is, and Okay, and what you can do here, you can just copy and you can paste that to the new pipeline which you have created. Okay, so we have already exported this. What you will do, we'll go to our pipeline which we have newly created, because, and what I'll do, I'll go edit this pipeline. Okay, I need to go to the downloads folder. I need to go to downloads folder. I'll just go and edit this file, control C, and then I'll replace this file here. Okay, so this is how you have to write. Either you can write by your own, or you can, if you have existing pipeline, you can copy from that and just you can go and save the pipeline. Okay, once the code is saved, now you can go ahead and execute this pipeline. Okay, so this is already started executing. What happened, why it is started executing? Because what this is, you are doing a changes to the code, and that's what triggering the CI build. Okay, continuous integration. You have changed the code, and that once any code is going to change, my pipeline is getting started executing. You can see here one is executing, one has queued. Okay, so this is running, this is queued, so my one job is queued into the server. So once this is executed, okay, so this is executing the pipeline. Okay, so it is running here the checkout code, then restore NuGet, build solution, test assembly, copy the file, and publish artifacts. These steps will get executed. This is my classic one. Okay, so that they're getting executed, and once that is done, it's trying to build my code. Okay, so what happens in this build stage, actually it tries to copy all my source control to the server, and on the server, using the Visual Studio, it is trying to build our code. Okay, and if you have written any test case into that, it will try to run those test case, and once the test case is done, it is trying to copy the file to the artifact repository, and this artifact repository will be referred by your release pipeline. Okay, release pipeline is going to pick the file and it is going to deploy that file to the specific locations. Okay, so let me go, this is completed. Now once that is completed, you can see here the another pipeline will start triggering. Okay, so this is still queue, that is not completed. Yeah, this is completed. Now this is started executing, and basically when you are executing, I'll show you where this is getting executed. You have to go to the agents. Okay, so you have the agent pool. Okay, you have to go to the setting of the organization or setting of the project, and you will be able to find an agent pool here. This is what it is, Microsoft hosted agent. Okay, you can click here, you can see here Microsoft is giving a agent. Okay, so earlier it was executed, this agent was executed, now this is getting executed, this job. So, and here you can see the list of agent they have given me. Okay, so this agent is nothing, it's a machine. Okay, so the agent which is there on the machine of your you can say the Microsoft environment. Okay, so this is completely Microsoft managed, we cannot utilize or use these agents or physically update or go and log into the server, stop, start, those things you will not be able to do it onto the server level. And this agent is getting executed here, and if you click on this agent, you will be able to see it will take you to the same pipeline. Okay, so the pipeline is getting executed. Okay, so those things will be started running here, and I'll show you this YAML one also. So YAML one also has been completed. So this is for your YAML steps. Okay, so you can develop two kind of pipeline and both works into the same way. Okay, and that you will be able to execute YAML and classic way. Just give me 1 minute. So any doubt here till now? We have seen that how this can be created. Yeah, so if you see the YAML file will have the similar kind of a step which we have seen here. Okay, so let me show you here. So YAML file will have a same step. One first thing, file will have something called agent pool definition. Okay, so this is the agent pool definition which is there. Okay, so which agent you are looking for. Then it will be having our which project you want to do, and then you have something called okay, so what project you want to do, which branch you want to build. Okay, then you have steps, what all the task you want to do. So then you have a task. So first is a NuGet restore, then you have build which project you want to build, test assembly, copy file, and the publishing artifact. If I'll open this, these are having a similar kind of a stage. Okay, so trigger branch. Okay, so which branch you want to trigger. So if any changes are happening in this master branch, you are going to trigger a build. Okay, so that's, and this is the build number and format. So basically build number comes in the year, month, and date. That's what the build number looks like. I'll show you the build number. Yeah, this is the what build number. Okay, so this is a build number looks like. So this is your build number. Then you have a jobs will have a phase one. So first phase is like what you want to display or download the code from that. This is the pool. Okay, so pool is nothing, it's server. Then you have a steps talks about the NuGet installer. So first is a NuGet restore, and then you have something called build pipeline, and then you have a release pipeline. Okay, let me show you one thing here. Okay, so let's suppose that I'm creating a new pipeline. Okay, I'm creating a new pipeline. I am selecting a git repo. I'm selecting a this. Okay, and I'm just creating a starter project. This is a blank project. Okay, now what I have to do, so these are the steps. You can see here it is asking me which trigger, what is your trigger. So do you want to have it master as a trigger, then you have a Ubuntu machine it is taking. Now you don't want Ubuntu machine, then I have to write here, okay, so this is my VS 2017 on Windows 2016, like that I need to write. Okay, next step it is asking echo hello. Okay, so I need to modify this as steps or a script. Okay, so that I need to go ahead and modify according to my work. Okay, or I can go ahead and say I want to build a ASP.NET application. So if I select a ASP.NET application, you see here it is saying automatically picking all those information. Full it should be the Windows. Now variable, these are the variables you can define. So variables is basically things which is required for you into the steps or into the stages you need of variables. What do you mean by variable? Variable could be the your server name, variable could be your username, variable could be your password. Those things are a variable which you can go ahead and define here. Then you have a steps. Okay, a steps is a first step, talks about in a steps you will be having task. Okay, so a steps consists of the task. Okay, so first task is a NuGet install, then you have a NuGet restore, then this is the VS build. Okay, then you have something called build platform. Okay, so once this is done, okay, so this is the, let's suppose that I don't have a test page. Okay, I need to add a test phase here. What I will do, I will go here into this show assistance, and you can say I want to have something called a test. So I want to test the assembly. Okay, so you can have the publish test result or what you want to test. So Visual Studio test. I can click here. I can define those variables. Click here. Now you can see here the test step is added down. Now after testing I need to publish the artifact. Okay, I'll go here and select here publish artifact. Okay, copy and publish build artifact. I'll click here. I'll say that where you want to copy, so all those path and information you need to provide. An artifact name will be my build name, artifact type will be your server, and I'll say okay. Now your another stage has been added. This is the one of the things which you need to understand, and basically this is required a more practice in terms of understanding that how you can modify the YAML pipeline. Okay, and what are these variables talks about, what are the build path you have to perform, what is the platform. So these are all are coming from variables. So basically we are trying to read this value from the variable. So this is how you can read your build platform variable. Or even you have one option called parameters. So you can have a parameters defines, and you can say that I want to have a parameter called name. Okay, and name will be something called a string or something like that. You need to define here. Okay, so those things you have to define here, and what happened, this will be understand as a parameter. Okay, and once you save that, you will be getting a something called parameter also. You need to pass here when you are running the file. You can see here, this is asking me parameter. Okay, once I pass the parameter, you can have it. So you can define all those things as a pipeline even. Okay, so there are multiple things which you will be able to, yeah, but this is required a practice. But easier way to develop something called a classic pipeline. So if I need to develop a classic pipeline, what I'll do, I'll go to the classic editor, and I'll just simply I'll step by step I need to go ahead and proceed. Okay, so this is my Azure repo. I'll click on next. I want to build my ASP.NET application, or I want to deploy the code to the Azure web app, okay, or Docker, Maven, Python, whatever you want to select. There are multiple things which is available. Let's suppose that I want to build a ASP.NET application. I want to deploy to web app. I'll simply click on apply, and what happens? The steps has been generated for me automatically. Okay. Now you have to select Azure subscription. You have to fix those issues, and finally what happens, it's building and it is pushing the code directly to the Azure. Okay, and here you can see it's completely something called UI based, and it's very easy in terms of configuration and all those things. Okay, but YAML, you need to little bit understand about the code approach, and then otherwise what you do, you develop this code as a classic editor. Okay, once you tested that, then you can export that file. Okay, you can export, and even you can see all steps in the YAML. You can click here view YAML, you can see the YAML step for this particular stage. If I want to use this YAML step, I can copy this stage directly. Okay, or once you completely save that, you go back to your pipeline. Okay, and you go back to your pipeline, click on this, and then you can export your YAML definition directly from here, and then you can deploy this code as a YAML code. So that's what you can do it. So yeah, is it clear for you? Okay. Mhm, 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 mhm. Yeah. Okay, so your code is already available in the repo. When you're doing a build pipeline, what happens? It is using you can say it is using a Microsoft agent, and if you click here and you find there is something called drop location. Okay, so this is what the one artifact produced from this library. Okay, so what happens, last day it is trying to publish your code to a drop location. What happens, it's building. Okay, this is actually using, you can see here, this is using a machine. Okay, so first step is using a machine. This is the Azure pipeline, and it is using Azure hosted agent. Okay, so this is Azure machine. Okay, it is trying to copy those files over there into their machine. Okay, so it files, all the repository will get copied to that machine. Okay, so Microsoft machine, it is trying to build it, and once that build is done, this is a publish artifact stage. what it does, it copies the file from that machine. Okay, so this is a D drive machine they have having over there. From that, it copies to a drop location. Okay, this is a drop location where my files get copied. Okay, and this drop location is a container location which is present into the Azure DevOps. So Azure DevOps internally managing something called a repository. Okay, so artifact repository, and that it is called as a build repository. So pipeline artifact, you can see a pipeline artifact. What happens, DevOps internally manages a place, or you can say the blob container, to store those kind of registry. Okay, so those files will be get stored into that pipeline artifact section into the storage, and I'll show you that as well. uh, I go to this pipeline, and if I go to the stages, it copies to that particular location. And how I can access that particular location, so you can go to the same place, one artifact, click on this one artifact produced from this, and you can see here this is the drop location. Okay, and that will be kept there till you are having this build, or you're not defining something or to delete this. Okay, so you need to define a retention period for the pipelines. Okay, so these are the files which has got generated from your you can say the from your website. Okay, and this is what it is getting used from your deployment. So these files will get used from the deployment. So if you go to the logs, what it's trying to do, it is downloading artifact. What it does, it actually goes here, and this is my container location. You can see here this is my container location. So those files which you have just now seen, that has gone to the drop folder. Okay, let me write. So this is my build. Okay, so build pipeline is here. Build pipeline going to, once the artifact is generated, is it going to put into a drop location. So this is my drop folder. This is my drop folder. This is nothing internally managed container into the DevOps. Okay, so this is a blob container, and when my release pipeline is going to execute, is it going to pick the file from this drop location. Okay, only the agent machine is going to used. Okay, agent machine is only used to copy the file, build the application, and drop the file to the drop location. Now again, when you are going to run a release pipeline, okay, it is going to copying this drop location file to the agent folder, and it is trying to deploy the application into the different environment, dev, test, prod, any environment, and it is just copying the file from the drop location. Okay, so if you see, this is my drop location. So if my release pipeline is executing, it is trying to copy the file from the drop location. If I try to browse this, you can see here it is going to browse my code here. This is my drop location, and you can see here internally it is going to dev.azure.com slash my organization, and it is internally a container is getting stored. Okay, so container is nothing, it's a blob storage it is pointing to, and my all the files are getting stored into that container. So that files, whatever you are generated output file, that will be stay as long as you don't want to define a retention period. Okay, so there is a something called a retention period which you have to define into your pipeline section. Okay, how long you want to retain the output. So there is something called retention tab is available here. If you click on retention tab, it's saying this is the project level setting. Okay, you can't have every pipeline level setting. So click on this, it will take you to the project level setting, and you can see here it is saying the day to keep artifact 30 days, day to keep your all runs for 30 days, whatever you are running it will be kept for 30 days, day to keep all pull requests for 10 days, number of recent run for your pipeline is the 3 number of recent run you can have. You can always go ahead and change and modify this according to your date. So it is available from 1 to 60. So those are available here which you can go ahead and modify the dates according to you how long you want to retain those kind of data artifact into the particular drop location. Is that clear? Mhm. So what correct. So what happens, because I have the old this one organization, that's why it is allowing. Okay. But for you all, what is the problem here? The nowadays Microsoft is not allocating a free of cost agent. Okay. So do one thing, go to your organization here, click on this top left corner. Okay, go to the organization setting, then go to your something called a parallel jobs. Okay, okay, go to the parallel jobs, and this is a screen you have seen in the slides as well. So currently for me it is allowing. Actually I have old organization, that's why it is allowing. For the new organization, which is the new user, they are not giving the free agents. Okay, so that you have to click on the purchase parallel jobs. Okay, click on purchase parallel job, then click on setup billing. Once you click on setup billing, it will ask you Azure subscription. Okay, so yesterday we have created a you have created Azure subscription. Select that subscription which you it is listing here. If it's not listing, maybe it will ask for the logging. Select the subscription and just click on save button here. Okay, you can select your active subscription whichever is there. It will ask you validates and says, and just mention here a two parallel job. Okay, Microsoft hosted two parallel job I want to use, and then click on save. Okay, just click on two parallel job and click on save master Microsoft hosted agent. Okay, just removing my bill. Okay, and then what you can do now, you come to your pipeline and try to build again. Just give the work to pipeline. Just click on the go to any of the pipeline and just click on run pipeline. So we are doing our manual run. Okay, so if you're clicking on this run pipeline button, means we are want to run this pipeline manually, and just click on OK. Then you see if it's getting executed or not. Okay, so once agent is allocated, it will run. Okay, so make sure your agent is assigned. You're getting, you can see the machine name is also coming here. So this is the machine name they are giving me. This is the Windows, this machine name. This is the agent version which is there installed. Okay, so these things are part of this. Okay, so that's what as part of this lab. Another thing, it is asking me to create an agent. Okay, how I can create a agent. So currently you see that the problem came with the Microsoft hosted agent, and that is a limitation. So now we have to think about something called how to deploy our agent. Okay, our own agent, and that how I can go ahead and utilize that agent. Okay, so let's go ahead and configure this agent. Okay, how we can go ahead and deploy this agent and utilize this agent to run our code. Okay, okay, so that's fine. So how um, how to create an agent? Okay, so we are going to create something called self-hosted agent. Okay, in our machine. So what I have to do, you have to go to same organization. Okay, click on this organization button, go to your organization setting, then you go to the agent pool. Okay, Now you can see here, this one is a Microsoft hosted agent. I can't go ahead and modify this agent pool. I can't go and add the agent pool inside that. This is a Microsoft hosted agent that I am not supposed to touch that agents. Okay. There is something called default agent. Okay. Or you can create your own agent pool. Okay. So how I can create my own agent pool? What I will do, let me delete this. Okay. So this is the one of the default is available. Okay, so default is already available, and this is, you can see here, there are some agents which I have created earlier. I just delete that. I don't want that agent. For you it will be blank for now. Okay, so default agents are completely blank for you. If you go inside that, you will not be able to see the agents inside that. Okay, now we can create a new agent. Okay, how to create a new agent? You click on new agent button here, and then you can go ahead and download a zip file for Windows, Mac OS or Linux. So depends on what operating system you want to install your agent. Okay, so currently I am having Windows and I want to install on Windows operating system. I'll click on download button and it downloads a zip file for me. Zip file is having all the packages which is required for the agent. Okay, it downloads into my local system. This can be done into your local system. This can be done in your on-premises system, on-premises machine, or you can get a virtual machine and you can deploy that for your organization. Currently, I'm showing in my laptop how to configure that. So that is important task, which how to configure and run the agent. Okay. Another thing, we can deploy our agents into the default agent pool. So this is my default agent pool which is available. Other than that, if you don't want to do that, okay, you can go ahead and add more pools. Okay, so I can click on add pools. I want to have a self-hosted agent. I'll say I want to have a Windows pool. Okay, so the Windows pool will be a pool where I'm going to deploy my Windows machines. Okay, I can have another pool for the Mac OS. Okay, so I can go and create something called pool called Mac OS. Okay, Mac OS pool. So I can have a multiple pool like that. Okay, so when you are going to give the work to the agent, you are going to only select which pool you want to give. Okay, so like a Microsoft, you can't select which Windows system or Mac OS system. You will not be able to select. For self-hosted agent, only you are going to select a pool name. Okay, so that's what we have to separate our pool name according to my requirement. Okay. So if I wanted to build a Windows application, I will select a Windows pool. If I want to build a Mac OS application, I will select a Mac OS. I'll show you one thing. If you go to the pipeline back here, okay, I want to change this pipeline to run for not with the Microsoft hosted. Now I want to run with the my pool. Okay, so you can see a Windows pool, Mac OS pool. Okay, and you see one difference here. When I am selecting a Microsoft hosted, Azure hosted, it is asking me which agent you want to, what kind of application you have. Okay, I have a Windows application, that's why I have selected a Windows application. But when I am selecting a Windows pool, it is not giving me the option to select which operating system you want, because what understand Azure understand that you have categorized your pool according to your requirement. Okay, so this is my Windows application pool, so I should have all Windows server inside that and Windows application related stuff installed into that machine. If I'm selecting Mac OS, I'm just only allowed to select a pool. I'm not allowed to select what kind of environment I'm looking for inside that pool. Okay, so that you have to understand and categorize accordingly for your requirement. Okay, now this is what I have created. Okay, so I can create a multiple pool according to that. Okay, now I have downloaded a code, a zip file into my local machine. So this is my zip file. I'm just copying this zip file and I'm placing it into my C drive location. Okay, so any location you can keep it. For your real scenario, you'll not put into C drive. That's not allowed actually. Okay, so you'll do that. Okay, I'm just deleting the old files. Okay, now I'm exporting this zip file. I'll just click on and extract that zip file. Now I'm going to rename this zip file. I'll say this is my uh, Azure agent 1. Okay. Okay, I have renamed it. Similar kind of thing, I can have a multiple agents. I can extract as much as possible and I can create a multiple agents here. Okay, so I have agent 1, I can extract that, I can keep it as agent 2, and all those things I can go ahead and do that. Okay, how to create agent? Now I need to configure the agent. Okay, so I'll double click on this. It will open the folder. Okay, here you have a config and run.cmd. There's two files which is available. I'm going to utilize this file in order to create an agent. I'll go and open a command prompt or PowerShell window as an administration. You can directly run from here and also open that. Open as a PowerShell administration. Okay, you can do the same work with the command prompt or the PowerShell. Okay. Okay. Then I need to run this config.command. So config.cmd helps me to configuration of the agent. I'm saying dot slash. Now you can see here the prompt has came here. Okay, so this is prompt is important. You have to get that. Okay, so once you got the prompt, it is asking me where you want to install this agent. So it is asking me the server URL. I need to give a server URL of my DevOps. Make sure you are selecting a dev.azure.com / your organization name. So this is the complete path I need to take. Okay, and then I can place that path here. So I'm going to install the agent for my DevOps. Okay, and this is the what organization I want to install for that. I'll say enter. Okay, so it has recognized that. Now it is asking how you want to authenticate using because this machine is a separate machine. This is a cloud-based DevOps environment. How you want to authenticate, how you want to establish a communication between your DevOps and this machine. So I'm saying I want a PAT. That is a PAT means personal access token. Okay. So personal access token is required to have a communication from DevOps to the external, any other external services. Okay. We'll use this PAT so many places during our configuration. Okay, so now I need to develop a path. How I can get the path from the DevOps? Go to your something called next to your login. You'll be having something called a user setting. Click on user setting and you will be getting something called personal access token. Okay, once you click on personal access token, a prompt will open and you can create a new token here. Click on new token. Give the name of the token so that you can recognize this is your token. So this I'm giving this my pat. Okay, and this is my organization name, and this pat will be active for 30 days. Even you can have you can increase or you can decrease the date. Maximum you can have it for maybe 1 year, I guess. Till July, yeah, 1 year, I guess you can have it max. Okay, so that you can create. Okay, so I'm keeping it for 30 days. That's fine for me. And what kind of access you want to give. Okay, so you have a customized access, so you can create a work item level access, means you can create access your queries, backlog, whatever we have created, a task, and all those things you'll be able to do. You can access the code, you can access the build pipeline, you can access those release pipeline, you can access the test module, and those things are available. So you can restrict your access based on the path, what level of access you are looking for. For now I'm just creating a full access. Okay, and I'm just going to hit a create button here. Once you hit a create button, a token will be generated. Copy this token and keep it in the notepad so that I can utilize this token later on as well whenever it's required. Okay, So I'm just saving this to my local so that I can later on also I can refer that. Okay, same path I'll use to multiple communication. So I'm giving my path and save. Now I'm copying this personal access token and I'm giving this personal access token here into the configuration. So it's asking me enter authentication type if you want to do authentication using a path. Yes, I want to do with authentication with path. So I'll say enter. Okay, once you hit enter, it is asking me the enter the personal access token. Okay, so copy and paste. Okay, now it has established a connection with the my DevOps server. Now it is asking where you want to create agent pool. Do you want to create inside the default? If I say enter, it will by default take a default. Okay. No, I don't want to create in default. Where you want to create? I want to create into something called, I have created a new folder, a new pool, and I want to install my uh, agent into the Windows pool. Okay. So I'll copy this pool name and I'll say I don't want to create into default. I want to create into the Windows pool. So I've given a pool name. I'll say enter. Okay, so it's recognized that pool. Now it is asking what is the agent name you want to give. Okay, by default it is taking my laptop name. Okay, so this is my desktop name, which is it is accepting. No, I don't want to give this name. This is not a user friendly name. I want to give my Microsoft Agent 1. Okay, so I'll give like this. Okay, and this is the agent name which will be get created into the agent pool. I'll say enter. It is scanning the capabilities. Okay, so it is scanning my system, what are the softwares are there in the system, my machine, and what are the build and activity which I can do that. So that's what it is saying. Okay, another thing, if you see here, it is asking me what is the work folder. So whenever you are building a code, what happens, your code gets copied to the build server. Okay, so your code will be copied to the work folder. So by default what happens, agents creates underscore work folder where your file will be get copied, your build will be get generated into that particular folder. Okay, I want to keep the work folder as it is. I don't want to modify. Okay, we'll see it later. Now it is saying that do you want to run as a service in the production scenario, on the real scenario, on your company, generally you create as a service. If you're saying yes, it will generally ask you a credential of the machine. Okay, so service account, generally you run the services. Okay, so that what happens, it will go and sit in the services section. Okay, so this is your services. If you say yes, what happens? This agent get created as a service. It will be listed as a service, and you have to provide what? You have to provide a logon name. Okay. So if you are creating as a service, next step it will ask you the what is the logon name or the username which is having a permission to run a service onto the server. Okay. So currently I don't want to install as a service. Generally in your real scenario in your company, you'll create as a yes, and then you'll enter your username password over there so that it will create as a service into your machine. Okay, and it will keep on running. Okay, so you want that service to keep on running. You don't want to manual stuff, but currently I'm looking for manual stuff, so I say no. Okay, you can enter n, or just you can press enter to n. Okay, so I'm saying no, I don't want to create. So it is enter configuration. Okay, it is asking how to log on. Okay, run as service. Okay, so now this has been, just you have to do no, and then it is done. Now I need to run this. The configuration is done, and now what you have to do, you have to because I have not created as service, so this agent is not running by default. Now I need to run it manually. Okay, so to run the manually, I need to run this run.cmd file. So I'll say dot slash run.cmd. Okay, if I'll say enter, now it will say the agent is started running. Okay, now agent is and listening for the job. See, it is saying the listening for the job. Let's go back to the portal and try to refresh here the pool. Now you see here inside the Windows pool, we got an agent called MS agent, and which is ideal as of now. If I go to inside this agent, it is showing the capabilities of the agent. So this is my agent. This is installed in C drive agent folder into this machine. This is the agent version, which is a Windows NT server. Okay, these are the folder which we have here. Okay, this is having taking the all the information from my system. Okay, where my Docker is installed, where my .NET frameworks are installed, what is the home path of the server, where is my MS build is installed on my system. Okay, where is my OneDrive locations are, everything it has taken from my machine, and what it is, and it has posted as an agent. Okay, so all those information are available into the agent, and this is what it is called as system capabilities. System capabilities means what are the feature which is available in the system, and that has been used by the Microsoft agent in order to build an application. So when I'm building an application into my system, it is required a Microsoft build, it is required a Microsoft test, it is required a NuGet restore, it is required if I want to build a Docker image, it is required a Docker path. So there are multiple things which has taken. The .NET framework is required. So all those information are available as a system capabilities. Okay, that's what the agent takes care. Now I need to build a something code, or any agent I need to build. What I'll do, I'll quickly go and create I can do the a run for this same as well. Okay, so I can say run. I can go and parts unlimited. I can say run pipeline. I can go and select Windows pool, and I'll say run. What happens? My code is now running on my machine, listening for the job. It will come here a job. Okay, now you can see here this has been acquired. The agent is the desktop, my machine. It is a MS agent, and agent has started working. So downloading task, NuGet package, build, restore, everything is doing. It's saying the running job. So job is started running, and I'll go back to my agent. I can see the in the agent pool. I go to this agent pool, and you can see one job is running from my agent pool, and this agent is working for me, running the build number this. Okay, and this is the build number is for what? This is the build number for my pipeline. So my pipeline is getting executed using the on-premises agent, or you can say the self-hosted agent. So that's how you can go ahead and configure the agents, and you can see all those information available here. Okay, are we good till now? Do you have any questions, or with the self-hosted agent? When you have a security tab, yeah. Mac OS, if you go to new agent, you can. Okay, yeah, it will be different. Check. Self-hosted. Yeah, this is what the you can refer this documentation. Let me ping you. Hopefully this will help you. Is this issue resolved? A parallelism issue? Are you able to? Okay, that's fine. So you can refer this documentation. Maybe that will help you. Okay. So any other questions till now with the agent and configuring the agents using the Microsoft agent? Okay, and the pipeline, I'll tell you one more very good example from using the Visual Studio, how to create a from the scratch. I'll show you that is not in the lab, so but I'll show you how to create a test plan, how to create applications, and how we can deploy those application, and do few configuration from the end to end with perspective with the pipeline. Okay, so I'll show you that how to build a pipeline from the scratch. Uh, any